News at 4 on ConsumerHallaTV. I am Kike Lomo. At Jibalin in PwC's Nigeria's Economic Outlook 2026 titled Turning Macroeconomic Stability into Sustainable Growth. The report notes that despite recent policy actions aimed at restoring macroeconomic stability, weak growth in real incomes and persistently high living costs are likely to push more households into poverty for the next 2 years. PwC estimate that most Nigerians will struggle to record income gains strong enough to offset rising prices in the near term, particularly as inflation continues to erode purchasing power. Operatives of the Nigerian Police Force Airport Police Command have arrested a 20-year-old suspected internet fraudster for allegedly defrauding foreign victims, mostly in the United States, over about 1.25. Was arrested on 5 January 2026 while attempting to board a flight out of Lagos State. Confirming the arrest, the police public relations officer of the command AS. The suspect was apprehended by operatives of the anti-fraud unit after months of intelligence surveillance. The arrest followed sustained intelligence gathering and monitoring based on credible information as part of our effort to combat transnational crimes and prevent Nigerian airports from being used as escape routes by a criminal element. However, from that now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, Dr. Muda Yusuf, has said that Nigeria could achieve GDP growth of between 4 and 4.5% in 2026 if economic reforms are sustained. But on Tuesday, during an interview with Newsmail, when he noted that although key macroeconomic indicators are showing signs of stabilization, several downside risks could undermine growth projections if not carefully managed. He identified oil price volatility, geopolitical tensions, security challenges, and controversies surrounding tax reforms as major risks, stressing the need for caution in fiscal planning. The federal government has announced a shift from direct economic interventions to a capital de-risking and private sector-led growth model as part of a 2026 growth acceleration and investment mobilization strategy. The new who said the strategy is aimed at unlocking large-scale domestic and foreign private capital by lowering investment risks, removing policy distortions, and strengthening execution discipline across key sectors of the economy. According to Uzo Kanite, the government is seeking to move from macroeconomic stabilization to sustained economic expansion, driven largely by private investment rather than public spending. Our focus is to move decisively from stabilization to growth. The reforms underway are designed to lower risk, unlock private capital, and ensure that Nigeria delivers sustainable returns for investors while expanding opportunities for our citizens. Now, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has warned that petrol pump prices could rise to as much as 1,400 naira per litre if Nigeria relies solely on fuel imports, stressing that large-scale domestic refining has become a critical stabilizing force in the downstream petroleum market to justify another increase in pump prices. In a statement, the refinery said recent price movement further highlight an uncomfortable reality in the absence of Dangote Petroleum Refinery. Fuel importers will continue to operate without restraint, from petrol prices potentially escalating to levels estimated to up to 1,400 naira per litre in a post-subsidy environment. The refineries operators have therefore away from that now. Meanwhile, in Abuja, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has reduced the pump price of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, at its retail outlets, lowering the price to 815 naira per litre in Abuja. Newsmen who monitored filling stations across the Federal Capital Territory on Monday observed that the new price represents a 20 naira reduction from the previous rate of 835 naira per litre sold at NNPC outlet. The revised price was implemented at NPC filling stations located at Lugbe, Wuse, Zone 4 and 6, along the Kefi-Abuja Road as well as on the Kubwa Expressway. Despite the latest reduction, NNPC's pump price remains 79 naira higher than the 739 naira per litre currently sold at Dangote refinery-backed MRS filling stations nationwide. Checks by the correspondent of the Newsman showed wide price disparities across retail outlets in Abuja on Monday. And now the federal government has inaugurated a joint implementation committee to oversee the training and certification of 1 million Nigerians in digital literacy and emerging technology skills. The committee was inaugurated in Abuja on Tuesday by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, represented by the Permanent Secretary General Service Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Ibrahim Kana. Akume said the committee would also be responsible for planning and organizing a national digital literacy conference as part of broader efforts to deepen human capital development and support Nigeria's digital transformation agenda. And lastly, before we go this evening, 100 trillion naira in market capitalization driven by strong early year gains and broad investor participation across sectors. The milestone is attributed to regulatory reforms under the Investment and Securities Act 2025, which strengthened SEC supervisory enforcement and investor protection framework, restoring confidence and markets integrity. SEC plans to build on this progress through enhanced digital surveillance, investor education, and innovative products like green bonds and REITs, and reinforcing the capital market role in mobilizing long-term capital for economic growth. And thank you so much for joining us for the news once again this evening on ConsumerHallaTV. I am Kike Lomo Ajibola. To stay connected for more news updates, follow us via our social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube. Subscription is absolutely free, all at ConsumerHallaTV. Thank you once again for joining the news.